description. Soulpan and myself brought you it earlier. And if you're curious, Supreme, Colorado Mesa University, one of these two teams was not in the winner's side bracket. It has fought all the way back out.
Colorado Mesa University has come from the loser's bracket here, so they got to get the reverse sweep. We are starting out on Eichenwald Control, following this one up. Havana right after that, followed up with Volskaya and Kings Row, if we do make it that far. But Supreme coming in from the winner's bracket, undefeated so far in this tournament. Gonna start it off right there with a headshot onto one of the main healers of this Colorado Mesa University side. Gonna clean it up, trade it back with at least one kill. McCree look for a few headshots here, but not gonna find any. Badger getting back on defense now, but he's gonna get picked off before he gets behind that shield. Giving up a little bit too much ground here now in the 4 versus 5. Good counter charge there on the enemy. Reinhardt knock him on down, but these health bars are just bleeding. That's what you get when you pick off the healer first, and everyone just looks like they're gonna fall here. Bagel doing everything he can to keep his team alive, but it will also drop, and now it's all gonna be a Supreme point. They're gonna quickly storm Eichenwald. The castle walls have been taken. They're moving quickly towards the inner sanctum.
Absolutely, and that's pretty easy for them. They're going to feel real great about this Colorado Mesa coming on in. Just put in a body bag, gives him the old uppercut to the face. You're a range champion, bud. That was a little peculiar, as Badger is going to fall in his desperate attempts to try to stop the cap. But now we're moving this thing along as far as the payload is concerned. And Baptiste just launching stuff over, making sure he can heal his friends and continue to go from there. So we'll see CMU against Supreme, and so far it's looking all red.
I should just like this heads-up play here from the Baptiste of Supreme, as actually they're just going to continue to push on forward. There's been continuously aggressive just like this all the time. At least they're getting some boops off the castle walls as well. Enzo, unfortunately, getting booped himself as Beagle picks up one of those. That's a whole lot of ult charge towards that beat, and you do now see that Beagle has earned himself a break it down off the back of a few key boops.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things where they were just so far forward looking for everything and then some, and one simple utility spell is the end of your screen, at least for that life. So great move. You're going to see Infrared coming on out, so they have a beat on the entire opposing team, as that will help to push that payload forward. You can see right here, Diva flanking from that left-hand side or right-hand, depending on what side you're on, and shots ringing out here from Badger. Finding a couple of targets, but nothing too crazy. A couple of them go down from Mesa University, Colorado Mesa for that matter, as 3-4 now going to lose themselves. Badger going to reset now, as Supreme has once again stopped the aggression.
A good choice. I mean, people might look at that and say that looked funny because it seemed like he intentionally jumped off the edge, but that's exactly what he did. He needs to make sure he can get back, reset, and get one last team fight here with his squad. You just see those blue outlines lining up outside the door, looking for their time to filter on in. Here comes the Reinhardt charge right in the back. He's going to pick up a Reinhardt. That's a whole lot of damage. He will keep a few members alive here, but it's all a little too late. Everyone going down here. Baptiste Ryan already down. Main healer down. Main tank down. DPS down. And another healer down. This is a full wipe. And Supreme just looks like they're going to go straight on through here in Eichenwald.
And that was one of those weird, really interesting areas that we have seen come out of the side of Supreme. We were talking about Junkertown earlier, how they kind of just camped that early spawn as far as the first part of that game was concerned. They're finding these peculiar angles, and teams are just not ready for it, as yet another fight breaks out, and Badger's already gone. DPS down. This means that Supreme does get a little bit more room. The high nuke gonna come through and find Selena there on the backline DPS. So just continuing to push on forward, but it does appear that Zai is going to fall as well. Colorado Mesa University has the momentum and continue to push forward.
Denying
doesn't look like
the
this is going to be done quite yet.
Yeah, just in time. So they're not going to be able to finish this one off just yet. Burning a few ultimates there, and good neutralization by Colorado Mesa University to finally stall out here on Eichenwald. Looks like they're going to maintain this composition. Oh, Badger with the headshot. Picking up Selena there on the enemy Widowmaker. Now going to be able to gain some ground for themselves here and get an even longer angle for this sniper.
That was like that scene from Saving Private Ryan where it's just a sniper fight, one peaks before the other, and just got dome checked in the process. So aggression being exchanged here, as again Supreme looking for a way in. They're having a hard time getting past Funk, who is pretty far out for his team. Defense Matrix is going to be used, so this would be the time. Flux is going to come in, but that means Savitra is going to charge on in as well. Does have the bomb ready, can get these individuals in, but the opposing bomb goes off first. Why not respond in kind? Just kidding. Pushes on forward, pushes the rest of the team out. It's going to be an exchange of kills for these two teams. Bleach going to fall in the meantime. Baptiste trying to do everything he can to keep his team healthy, and is successful in doing so, so they will stop the crew for just another couple seconds. Not quite done here at this point, as it does appear more individuals, including this Tracer. Nice bomb going to land and remove an individual from Colorado Mesa. Another one down in the meantime as well. So Supreme
I'm
should have
imagining he's taking
a
ult.
nice grip here. Ooh. Here comes the ult. Possible explosion is going to find one, but two exchanged in favor of Supreme.
I imagine we're going to see the ult there just to try and stall it for a little bit of time. Needs to get some more members on the table here just so they can stall out this payload for as long as possible. 3 minutes down. They're not in a terrible spot anymore, but still in dire positioning here as the entire team of Colorado Mesa University tries to filter out onto the point. Reaper now in play here. Batternetti picking up, looks like another pulse bomb, but before he gets it, it's already over. They managed to finally get the full push. 2 minutes, 56 seconds. Not a bad record at all here on Eichenwald.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we were saying, they were just so unbelievably strong there in that final point of the map, you know, as you've got the replays going on in the back. That one little choke point right there, that one fight kind of spelled disaster for the side of Colorado Mesa. I mean, they looked so good for so long, and then as we mentioned, they just get absolutely shredded. So congratulations once again to Supreme for making it all the way, something we haven't seen as far as the day is concerned. So as you mentioned, Sopan, they do have about 2.5 as far as that's concerned on the side of CMU.
It's certainly not an unbeatable number. You can just find that snowball strat. Sometimes you just push all the way through to the end with the right ultimates coming up at the right time, and Supreme could end up on the back foot here if they make the right swaps at the right times. It's just going to be really, really tough to overcome that 2 minutes, 52nd minute mark, as it appears Supreme does seem to have a really good grasp on how to play out through this entire Eichenwald map.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see if they come out hot and heavy or whether or not they're going to take it a little bit slower, play with that extra time. If we know anything about Supreme, it's that, you know, they don't really like to wait. That's one of the big pieces of this in Colorado Mesa. So to put them on that back foot is interesting, I guess, is what I'm saying. You know, you always have to keep in mind that, sure, they were so strong on that attack. How's the defensive side of things? So we'll have to keep our eyes, like we said, Selena, strong player. That sniper fight that we saw earlier was pretty clutch. And then Mesa University here, Colorado Mesa University, just has to make their way through, but they got to do it quick. And immediately getting pelted right there. Headhunter almost fell in the meantime, just jumps right out and just gets absolutely smacked. There it is again. Snipe is good. Selena's going to finish that one out. Badger falls next. And it looks like, as far as these Tracers are concerned, feeling pretty good on the side of Supreme. Again, I mentioned they like to be aggressive. How aggressive is spawn camping right off the bat, Solpan?
A little bit bold. Certainly counterable as a strategy, and then you already see them kind of being forced in the back foot here, trying to get on out of here, but a lot of ultimate charge already built up, especially for this Reinhardt, barely missing those hooks. Critical here, gotta land a few of those, as now charging right back on in. Cole Gatsby here stuck with the corner against the D, but that's not the 1v1 he wants. Reinhardt picks up one at the fire strike on the other side of this fight, and actually she's getting booped off. See you later, Cole. And that's sent back to the spawn room, and they're just gonna come right back and greet him, as still gunning down through these spawn doors. Supreme struggling to break out of this one.
Yeah, this is a feels bad kind of moment. We have seen the fact that, you know, they can break through this. Colorado Mesa has a chance at opportunity, but there's that weird left flank that we were talking about. This Vitra coming on out here. This Roadhog is just trying to grip anything and is just getting shredded in the process. Vitra gonna be removed. Beagle gonna be removed. It doesn't matter how tanky you are. It doesn't matter how many friends you bring. You will not get out of your spawn. Supreme shuts them down again.
Yeah, the call here is always really tough. Do you really want to go to the Far Mercy and deal with the spawn camp? There's a Widow right outside your door, and she does not appear to miss ever. Alucia sitting right above that thing, ready to boop anyone down. He tries to play on top of this high ground. Actually going to get a good hook here onto Enzo. Some good damage dropped onto the Diva. Already getting healed back to approximately full. Where is another fire strike going to pick up some more damage here? Kills coming out once again towards the spawn. Two members sitting up top, but Reinhardt charge is just going to run right on into each other. Roadhog now just getting farmed for ult charge. The poor guy is stuck in the corner. Not going to get picked up. Everyone's got ultimates coming online here for Supreme, and this spawn trap will continue for the squad.
They're going to get a chance to breathe, right? Like, they got friends, they got families that are watching the stream. Like, why? Why you gotta be like this? This is some rude dude tech, as I like to say. Can't even get through the front door, just slam it back in their face. This is one Kirby salesman you're not gonna turn away.
Absolutely. When you're playing for prize pools, you never let up off the gas pedal. You just keep that stuff on going. So, you know, here in spawn, they're looking to finish up, maybe build up this Roadhog ultimate before they push on through. So they have a few online now, and Supreme's got absolutely nothing left in the tank. This might be their chance to break out of the spawn, as Satricha are going to lead the charge here on the Roadhog. Immediately taking a whole lot of damage there. might not be the play they're
Mortality
looking
field.
for. Invitational now will be on the flank and miss the hook on a Tracer here, and now not a lot of options to deal with there. There's going to be a little walk forward as a team. Need to pop this whole hog at some point. They're coming online with 3 ultimates. They're not going to be the first one to come on out here. If you're not going to find anything just yet, looks like they're holding on to that one for a little bit longer. Firestrike going to pick up Brigitte on the backside of the fight. Badger picking up the Diva mech, and now being forced back underneath this archway just a little bit. But again, they're still picking up 1-for-1 trades, and it's all they need. A good Shatter going to land on the Reinhardt, keep him in place for just a little bit more. Good headshots here coming up from Badger to pick that one up. And finally, Colorado Mesa University has earned themselves some breathing room here. Widowmaker going very low. Badger running around cleaning everyone else up. Bad Internet, last remaining member alive here. We'll look to clean up Soldier here with the Lucio, booping him out of the healing field. Genius play. Big moment there for the Lucio. Able to keep him away from his own healing field with Better looking to farm up on yet another pulse bomb here. What he can do, chasing another Brigitte here against the Lucio. Almost stacking it up completely. Will be the pulse bomb straight on the Brigitte to clean her up. And Supreme is still managing to hold on. 2 ticks given up, but only 15 seconds remaining on the clock. And Colorado Mesa University has to run back to this point immediately, or it's just going to be game on over here, giving over the first half to Supreme.
I don't know if they can get there in time. Again, Supreme has held them to their spawn so quickly. Toast right there. Beagle's going to find one, but the countdown timer is your worst enemy. Supreme, in decisive fashion, picks up our first map here. And again, you want to try to highlight a player. Enzo looked so unbelievably stellar, but as far as the entirety of Supreme, just looking so good. Don't forget the Tracer, they say, as we're looking at this play of the game.
Well deserved there. That was that double kill pulse bomb right on top of the spawn. Better just dashed back and forth here, picking up so many kills. It felt like just farming almost another pulse bomb in the time after putting up that first one. But again, Supreme off to an amazing start here, looking to continue their undefeated run here in the grand finals.
Absolutely. Again, Bad Internet with 63% kill participation means the flanks were there. Again, 100% of that probably came from the first 3 minutes of that last map there that we just saw. Again, just completely bottlenecking the opposing team on the side of Colorado Mesa University. They had hope. They almost got to that point, but we didn't even have a chance to talk about the difference in time and schedule. They didn't have time to mess around. They did not have time to be stuck in their own spawn point for 2.5 minutes, as it appears. They were looking at signs of life, but like we said, Supreme's been looking pretty solid as we move here into our next map.
Yeah, nearly unbeatable, it looks like. Next map is, of course, a control map, which typically when Overwatch players talk competitive, people say that control is the map pool that generally can be the most volatile. You have so many opportunities to create team fights. It's really hard to set up a spawn lock on most of them. There's some exceptions made on a certain Nepal map that will not be named. But Ilios is the call, so they don't even have that as an option. We'll see what they can do to make sure they can get as many fights off as possible against this team, avoid those staggers, and make sure we get as many 6v6s set up.
Absolutely. And again, for those of you just joining us, we're moving on to map number 2 of the LSUS Culture Gaming Winter Invitational. Again, Grand Finals means this is pretty much it as far as this tournament is concerned. If Supreme can make it all the way through, they have made it, as you said, undefeated. And as CMU, they came all the way back, as we were talking about, against Newmont Esports earlier today, took out one of the tournament favorites, Scion, and they find themselves down 1 here. But still, plenty of game to play. This is a best of 5 as Grand Finals are concerned.
Moving on here, we're going to go right on into Boop City. Got a Bastion out for Supreme, Ball and Hog being locked in as well. You do have, of course, the FAR that throws many people into the pit. So it looks like 3 members of Supreme are playing for those Boops. We'll see what they can get here, as there is at least 1 shield tank in the Reinhardt. Funk Physics going to be holding it down on the point for Colorado Mesa.
How many times have you jumped into this map and gone, I'm going straight down the middle, I won't get pulled, to only subsequently be immediately pulled?
I don't want to talk about it. I'm always playing either the Orisa or the Reinhardt. I'm the guy getting pulled on in most of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Bleach immediately going to the back line to view the Reddit Lucio. Setting himself up here. Looks like they're going to opt for this corner. And he's just going to be as annoying as possible, making sure he's just peltering down, forcing him to look behind him. That ball's gone very low, though, so now Sadis needs to be a little bit careful here. Bleach is playing the high ground here, forcing out the hog hook, actually, and they're going to pick up that first one. So much damage being dropped from this Lucio. Now taking the soldier out of the field once again. Bastion's been sent to the high ground, though. I forgot about this rollout. Sent himself up all the way up here. No shielding to speak of, but there's also not a lot of angles that you can approach this Bastion from.
It's got that Obi-Wan Kenobi high ground, man. There's nothing coming up to that guy. Don't do it, Anakin, as it does appear Supreme. Look at the first and initial ticks as far as the control point is concerned. Couple of shots coming on out. Force this Bastion out of here. Is able to heal as he runs away, which is a great addition to this character, but is going to be pushed out of the fight as it does look like it is being recaptured here. Colorado Mesa University looking to come on in. Bastion jump back out, but get mowed back down, as it does look like Colorado Mesa University should be able to gather this point. Just kidding. The rest of the crew, as far as Supreme is concerned, you do hear the Bastion ult is out, so expect some bombs to be dropped. Oh. Looks like one of the individuals is hurt so bad.
Although it looks like poor Bastion just eliminated himself there with his take ultimate.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but saw him just go down on his own. Still able to hold on to the point though. B is coming out as well as the whole hog, so they're trying to get as much percentage off this first point as possible. Not able to capture it back just yet. Losing a stun for that last tiny bit of tick, and now the point are actually going in favor of Colorado Mesa University. They gotta force them off entirely, get that full team wipe. Looking down the ball, seeing if they can get a full secure here towards that hamster, but looks like he's able to escape off into the corner. Not say just keeps himself nice and healthy. Zai gonna drop the nano boost on the Pharah, and now she's gonna be picking up all kinds of damage there on the backside. Good anti-grenade right into the whole hog, picking up everything here. Ana's on fire, and that's a well-deserved on fire moment for sure, as Pharah popping off, Ana popping off. Good damage dropped here, 45% now for this team, and securing it back from the slight blunder against Colorado.
If we could just roll check real quick, Ana is in fact a support, correct? Because she was popping everybody, friend and foe there. So like you said, very well-deserved moment there for Supreme. Badger going to try to ring out some shots, not going to find anything. Does have the ultimate, throws the stun below him as the rest of the crew jumps right on top. He's going to find Selena there, but 2, 3, 4 members from the side of Colorado Mesa University just going to be shredded. Go ahead, give him your best Mighty Morphin Power Rangers stance. Finish him off right there. Supreme looks to be doing much like they were last game. It took a little bit longer as they ticked that 80%.
These guys are unrelenting. Oh no, the hog off the edge.
No.
Enzo hiding in the wings, making sure he can pull off at least one person here. He wants those environmental kills. Junkrat just spamming up Main Street here on this map, trying to get a little bit of damage. Not finding anything, but you know what? Just make it a little bit harder. Take away some of that room to walk. And Selena just walking on into this fight. Gonna get a little bit of damage now. Finally joining up, but it's a little bit too late for Colorado Mesa University to make it back to the point. We'll send this one to round 2 here. First map, of course, going over to Supreme.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, completely warranted based on what we were seeing. They came out hot and heavy right off the bat. Sure, they lost it after about the third team fight for just a smidgen of time, but they're able to corral it on back and get back to the very familiar spawn campy screen that we have seen, including those environmental kills that Sulpan mentioned earlier. And it's looking all good. If you are a Supreme fan, already up 1 map, already up 1 round, and you just need 2 more games to finish this thing out. Colorado Mesa University, you're not feeling too terrible, but they got to find a way to break this onslaught, to find Supreme lacking. And the 22% we saw last map should be an indication it is possible. The champ does bleed.
Yeah, Headhunter here, locking in the Symmetra to try and maybe just secure the brawl on top of the point. Seems to be the composition they're going for, as Moira just so good in those close range engagements for healing. And they're going to be straight onto the point here, and this is going to be a tough break for Supreme to make.
Yeah, absolutely. As you mentioned, just using everything. Pulled on through. Badger is going to get shreked into cash right there. As we mentioned, how awful does that feel at times? We've all been there. Here comes the hamster man, looking for the individual, going to find him. Selena is going to find one in the meantime as well. Supreme just looking oh so fresh. We were saying it was going to be difficult. They make it look so easy, throw themselves off for the reset, and that is Supreme's point.
It's just a clever setup. I mean, when they're playing that brawl on the point, all you got to do is split them up, make them look different directions. They had a hog on the backside that managed to get that environmental kill. They had so much damage coming in from the opposite side with the Bastion. Just a perfect setup from Supreme to destroy the brawl comp on the point. They got the Symmetra on the point of their own. Ball coming on in here, trying to get as much damage as possible. Symmetra turret's just going to pick up poor Cole Cassidy there. Badger going down here. Funk Physics on the front lines, just absorbing the Bastion damage as much as possible. But it's Enzo behind them. The flanking hog is just everywhere this game. And Enzo not going to let up as they just push through the remaining members of their team.
Again, Selena just doing a great job. They are just absolutely pincer maneuvering every direction. I mean, I realize a pincer is from 2 different angles, but that's the thing. No matter what alley you're coming through, the communication is absolutely stellar between the side of Supreme, and they're having supports pick up pretty pivotal kills. You know, I realize it's not like as detrimental or weird in this game as it is maybe some other games. It just shows you the clear and like concise understanding of this team.
Get the Lucio sitting behind them. Poor Hanzo here getting tagged up by those bombs. Enzo picking up one. Hamster Mind's going to pick up another. Reinhardt will also fall in the fight. And we're already at 58%. And they have just completely set up the spawn trap. I know I mentioned it's harder on these maps, but they're pulling it off anyways. One player going for the back cap here is Bleach setting up behind the spawn, looking for someone he wants to target. One of these players and get one of those Reddit Lucio highlight moments. We'll see what he can go for here. Is McCree not realizing. They get booped on in. They're going to jump off the map, trying to get the ult off to just delay for as much time as possible against this team. What can they do? They're actually not going to be able to take him down.
Yikes.
Down to 10 HP. Bleach still survives here. Just messing with these guys on the Lucio. Now looking for the boot play potentially. Has that as an option. Going to pop into speed here. Almost makes it out. Badger finally going to take him down. And they have managed to work their way past Lucio, pick up the Hog as well. They only got a few members to get through, but they might be able to get onto this point, finally get their capture, get some percentage here on this map. 99% for Supreme. They only need one team wipe if they can pull it off in a quick succession here. But so for now, Colorado Mesa University has earned themselves this breathing room, and they're going to continue to brawl it out on this point. As one goes down there, though, it's going to be a tough fight.
Bleach doing his best Jet Set Radio impression. They're glad we got to see that highlight, as you mentioned, ended up on the Reddit wheel. At the very least, another poof, another punch. They find one. They're going to find a second there. As Savitra is going to fall on out as well. Enzo going to pick up the mech. He's able to get himself back, and that will be that. Funk's Physics down. Badger's down. Headhunter just now spawning. The rest of CMU is trying to get in and trying to do what they can, but they will be removed decisively by Supreme.
You know what? Not Sadist owes Bleach like $60 for that. He actually just jumped down and gave him the speed boost off the edge to make sure the hamster ball could make it back. Good heads-up team play there from the Lucio, providing the speed, doing everything he needs, not only as the Reddit Lucio, but also as the true support, saving his teammates KDA.
Please tell me this is the sequence that we were privy to, because it was kind of hype. It is not, but again, we were talking about Zai and just how strong they were in this map. Had a very, very odd setup quad at one point, and this screen is very familiar to what I am trying to reference, so very well earned POTG, if you will. That puts Supreme up 2 in our best of 5. Again, thank you guys so much for joining us. If you're just brand new here, LSUS Culture Gaming Winter Invitational. This is the Overwatch Grand Finals. My name is Chizu. That cool guy is Soulpan, and so far Supreme is reigning just that, even if I can't say it. And again, Colorado Mesa University has had a very long day fighting their way all the way out of loser's bracket. They are one map away from seeing their tournament dreams shattered here. Soulpan, if you're in this kind of a situation, how does one, and again, you're a former Overwatch player, if you will, how do you really take a look at this next map? Do you throw everything away and just play what you want, or do you go back to basics and try to fix the foundation? What would you, suggest, really?
Well, I'm not sure who's starting on which side here, but Havana is known as one of the maps that spawn camping is considered almost like the best strat possible on this map. We're already seeing Supreme do that on maps that is not considered super viable, so I won't be surprised to see him set up on yet another Bastion-style spawn trap right out the gates. It's very powerful to set up a reverse pirate ship comp, is what some people call it, where you set up on their cart and then just pound their spawn with Bastion Pharah. There's a few different ways you can set it up, but no matter what, their DPS players are on point here. The Widowmaker just so good in these last couple of matchups. This is another Sniper's Paradise style map. Havana's gonna be a really tough one for Colorado Mesa University to be able to push on through. What you have to do here, I want to see the double shield come on out. I want to see you guys just play the worst, most disgusting brawl comp you can, get on the payload and force them to come to you no matter what. Play those line of sights as much as you can. Make sure you're picking a target and going up together. Basically, I just want these guys to play it like it's GOATs. No one can beat GOATs in its true form, but you can barely budget GOATs and do your best to negate whatever these DPS players are doing to you. When you're playing into Tracer, when you're playing into Widowmaker, those are two characters that will struggle against that style of composition.
Absolutely, and big shout outs to the Twitch chat. Faber over here believes in the reverse sweep. I'm not going to put you on the spot, Soulpan, and I'll just come out and say that is a hefty order on the side of CMU. It's to be honest, again, those map twos, those round twos each time were very, very definitive in Supreme's hand. And again, they haven't dropped, if I'm not mistaken, a map as far as this tournament is concerned. So it should be a knockdown, drag them out as we head into game number 3. As you mentioned, Havana, again, seeing it in the Twitch chat. Love having you guys here. The LSUS Culture Gaming Winter Invitational. and it's just awesome to be a part of it. Put on by LSUS as well as Culture Gaming, and this is it. This could very well be the last Overwatch map you see as far as this tournament is concerned, and Havana is that one. Again, I would love to believe in the reverse sweep, but that's a tall order.
Yeah, I feel like almost no matter what, we're going to be seeing another spawn trap situation, and the question is whether or not Colorado Mesa University can break out of that during this game. Typically, another big thing we've been seeing from Supreme is their willingness to just chase you down through your own spawn. If you have less than your entire team out of your spawn gate, you need to get back into your spawn gate, regroup as 6, and move out as 6, or else they're just going to continue to run you down and chase you all the way through the map like they did in Eichenwald.
Yeah, and we saw them having to even resort to okay, we need to reset now, just throw yourself off. I think even at one point we just saw Reinhardt stop moving, just okay, well, we only have 4. What am I going to do? I'm a big shieldy boy with a hammer. I guess I can swing around and hope for the best. But again, yeah, as we mentioned, Supreme just on the cusp of taking this whole thing home. Again, thank you guys so much for joining us. Again, just waiting on the word go, and we will bring you the action. Again, Supreme has just looked absolutely phenomenal, not only here in this series, but this entire tournament, as we mentioned, kind of one of the tournament favorites, and wanted to bring up the fact that, yes, once again, that Colorado Mesa University knocked out Scion, who, again, was one of those ones that people were kind of putting up there as far as power level with Supreme.
Yeah, I mean, we also have other games going on today, so if Overwatch isn't really quite your speed, there's also a League of Legends bracket that may have concluded by this point, and I've just got confirmation that it did. Newmont Esports did end up completing the bracket flip, coming back to 2-0 Report's finest in the grand final, so give them a huge shout out. Big congrats to them for taking down that team in the League of Legends Invitational, and we're still waiting on Overwatch. Got 2 more grand finals coming up here with Rocket League on top of this one right in just a few moments. We did see the lobby. We know it's coming. We just don't know exactly when.
So what you're saying is if you're like a statistics kind of person, that in theory, these guys from Newmont can actually run this back? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Oh, sorry. No, it's Colorado Mesa. Sorry, I misunderstood.
Mesa,
I misunderstood what you were saying.
Different teams, yeah. But I do see what you're saying. We have seen a bracket flip. We know it's possible now. The question is whether, I think it all just going to come down to, can you break the spawn trap? This team is setting up phenomenal spawn traps on all these maps, and Havana, again, is the best possible map to set up a spawn trap situation. They're even kind of playing these funkier compositions. I think that Supreme is having a little bit of fun here in the grand finals, and, obviously being relentless with those picks. But it's not quite the composition that you would lock in if you had your back against the wall. It's the kind of composition you lock in when you're 2 games up in a series.
Yeah, and again, Supreme could, give us a match and try to throw everything out if they want to. But as far as, I think they keep this consistent. I think they're ready to go home, ready to shut this thing down.
And here we are loaded back on into Havana. I love the little musical notes we got there as we came into the map. We should be getting ready here in just a second. Teams considering what they need to lock out their opponents. Supreme versus Colorado Mesa University getting set on up here. See what they end up locking on. And Colorado Mesa University actually looking like they want to set up a spawn trap style composition of their own. Mercy being a great tool for that with that res ability. Get one more player up if they do end up getting picked off without them having to run back. Of course, Baptiste's immortality making it very hard to pick off anyone at all. So we'll see what Enzo can do here on the Widowmaker. If he can create enough space, find that angle and find a headshot or two to make sure they can escape their own spawn.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, Enzo, just one of those massive players that we were seeing DPS this time around, which is curious considering the highlight reels we saw came from a little bit more of a tanky aspect from them. But we'll see what the situation is. Colorado Mesa University, do they have more fight? Or is Supreme going to just run this thing over in the most aggressive fashion we have possibly ever seen in a tournament? Oh. The game is paused. That suspense, that tension, you can feel it in a spot that is only rivaled by Christmas morning, your birthday. Hopefully you get a Great Adventure Castle instead of, I don't know, your dog running away.
Yeah, you know what? This just kind of makes sense, right? We get right here in the game, a few players bleeding, no one going down just yet, but we pause before first blood is drawn. Will also allow us to sort through the technical difficulties, but looks like we're getting back into the match here. So we'll see what this fire can do. Nice and high, bad and nitty. Oh, we're back into the pause.
Psych, JK, Psych. Smiley face, exclamation point. whatever. But
It was just
so
memes.
curious right off the bat. Again, you mentioned just huge damage coming out. Supreme, as far as bad internet is concerned, is definitely feeling the first pieces of brunt as far as the exchange is concerned. But again, it's early, no real indication of what's going on. Yeah, it looks like Brigitte is like staring at a wall for the first couple minutes of this game, but we are back in. Badger just gets shreked on, lands pretty much in the middle of the team. It's probably a connection thing, if I'm not, too candid. Unknown is getting shredded here as well. As it does look like that Baptiste, the immortality field does come out and basically saves everybody, allows it for him to put more on, but that Mercy going to fall there. Unknown right after. Headhunter and the rest of the crew are DOA, and I'm not talking the fighting game, as it looks like Bleach and Zai are able to clean them up.
Yeah, Colorado Mesa University's health bar is lasting about as long as an immortality field did. Unfortunately, the fire going down so early makes it so hard for them to hold this spawn. Badger doing a great job there on the Widow to pick that fire off, and Beagle, unfortunately, within that team fight, just not finding the res, is just too many members of Supreme sitting right on top of that body. Did mean that she was going to just be unable to clean that one up. Genji to the back line here, already setting this one on up. Widow does go down so quick. Badger losing out against the ball. Tough matchup indeed here, is already the mines coming out to just deny this area, deny them the ability to walk forward. Unknown trying to kite back with the Reinhardt. Get booped around a little bit by this ball. Doesn't quite have the damage to take down this one solo. Good charge here to lock it down. Gonna get the Mega though and keep himself alive, but too bad your healer is down. Reinhardt gonna quickly follow here as Funk Physics gonna drop with the reset. Go back with the rest of the team. Headhunter getting spotted out here. Gonna play hide and sneak on the Sombra, but unfortunately it's not gonna be enough. They're gonna actually allow the spawns here and then clean up even more ultimate charge for their entire team. A nice play there on the payload to jump off and then jump right back on to make sure they can get the checkpoint.
You mentioned the spawn camping. They get that first point unbelievably easy. Again, Colorado Mesa did not necessarily want to lose that Sombra as they did, but hey, it was a nice attempt, a kind of copycat situation. What a shot there from Headhunter. Gonna pick up that one, but is removed in kind. One aside, but it does look like Unknown will be pulled back. Gravitic Flux is in, multiple people locked in. The damage isn't out, but it does look like Headhunter, Beagle, Badger, whatever animal you are being taxidermied right now, as a pop right there from Savitra looks pretty good. It does look like Bleach is going to be out. Sadist is just hanging by a thread. Baby Diva is out and put to sleep. Nap time there, and just Zenyatta just chilling, just hanging out. Throws the peace sign. Doesn't even have to be there.
He's a peaceful guy. He's just chilling on the payload. You know how it is. Mines do come out here once again towards this corner, just again continuing the spawn trap. Selena did end up going down there finally, but Enzo's gonna trade it out directly there onto the Mercy. They're gonna have at least one more attempt here towards this payload. If they can break out of the spawn trap here. High Noon is gonna come out. Diva Bomb not gonna find anything. Drop to low ground. Badger not gonna be able to find anyone anywhere, but does know that Genji is flanking off the back of that ultimate ability. And he get tagged up here by himself. Enzo flanking on the Widow, will get traded fairly quickly there, but there's only one more member here defending. Payload gonna take on down. Unknown hopping on with the immortality field, gonna stall for as long as possible, but he'll also fall, I'm assuming, fairly soon. Genji struggling to pick this one up, will finally pick up the kill. Mercy shortly to follow. Will actually get off the res. What are you guys doing? They're just staying alive here. The healer duo managing to hold down this one, as now the tanks will arrive, giving up some more time here on this payload. Ivana hard to push through this little gateway, but finally gonna find the checkpoint, and they'll finally push on through, cleaning up 2 here for Supreme.
Absolutely massive. An exchange of information, aggression, and again, no surprises. It goes Supreme's way. Headhunter just wanting to play the game and is going to be removed with good old buddy Mercy. As Beagle's also going to fall in process. Bleach right now is looking like something out of Samurai Champloo. He is all over the place. He's making connections, and he doesn't even need to hang out with the rest of his team. He's just full-fledged flank at this point if he so chooses. Has a couple reflections back. Actually is going to be dropped there. So as soon as I'm singing his praises, we're going to switch on over. It does look like one aside, I'm sorry, for both of these crews. As again, just looking to push this point. The A point, the B point, that 1 to 2 was absolutely scorching as far as speed is concerned. So Supreme should be feeling good as they move towards this third and final point here on this map. Enzo looking for an angle, almost gets dropped in the meantime. Great shots, great scan there. It does look like the ultimate is going to come out here. Badger is going to fall. We do hear the rage is out. And look at this hamster running on the wheel and taking everyone out in the meantime. Baby Diva going to be coming out. The explosion does find 2. Feels pretty dang good. So now it's a 4-for-2 exchange. But right now, Supreme should be able to move on up with relative ease. It appears so, yeah, as they're going to put this past one of the more obnoxious points of the map as they start to eyeball the end.
Yeah, everyone will be able to stream out here and stall for such a long period of time. Supreme really needs to get one of these team wipes to ensure they can secure this payload. See what they can do here. Not able to touch that payload just yet. Funk Physics hanging out here on top of the payload himself. No one really wanting to deal with him. They're just going to ignore the Reinhardt and go kill the rest of his team and then turn around on top of him. Funk Physics eventually going to go down here. Payload has been secured, it seems, and Supreme just escorting the last few steps here. Mercy going to jump on in. Not going to last too long. Cole Cassie trying to make it to the point, but not going to get there as well. He was just body blocking the entrance here to the point, and finally, Supreme going to push all the way through for that 3rd point.
That was a huge flank, too. We'll have to double-check how exactly it unfolded, because we had camera on Reinhardt, and you look up in that top left, and it's like, X? 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 Oh, no. And sure enough, as soon as he turns around, the entire crew is there and just destroyed. So Supreme are looking unbelievably good. If they can stop this in any way, shape, or form, they'll be walking home a couple bucks richer, and it's looking pretty good if you're a Supreme fan.
Yeah, looking nearly unbeatable. 3 points to push through here for Colorado Mesa University. And again, we mentioned earlier, this is the Spawn Trap squad. We'll see what kind of composition they want to bring to continue their dynasty, their namesake here on Havana. As I believe I could see the Bastion comp coming through, but looks like they want to split it up, play this more divey, have their Ana sitting far back, and their, of course, Baptiste playing a little bit closer with that Immortality field, clutching up on a few kills.
Absolutely. Sorry, I'm checking the replay. It was bad internet and Selena who came around from behind. So not only was it just like one really strong person, but you had 2 big old beefy boys just pelting him in the back. So it feels bad, man, but a nice possible second attempt. But Colorado Mesa up against the wall now. They have to pick up this win or that is it. But as you mentioned, Supreme has looked so good, so crystalline as far as the clarity of their comms, the way they've been pulling off their combos. It's just a whole bunch of good news for the red side.
Setting up here for an early rollout, it seems. Lena actually missing out on that one a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
Was not able to stay on top of the rooftop, but trying to get out of the base. Now they do know, you can see the caution on the approach as they do slowly start to trickle on out of this one. Farah sitting up top, being a nuisance, of course, doing what she does best. Is this is just what you do on this map. You can sit up here for such a long period of time. Headhunter dropping out on the Sombra, looking to try and hack out the ball. Not able to do it just yet. There's too much damage coming on through. Fire dropping down a little bit dangerous here in this fight as be a hard place to jump on through. Finally gonna take out the Diva. Headhunter picking up that one, and they may have actually broken the spawn trap initially here. We'll see if Supreme can regroup and make it happen again, but Mesa University pushing forward effectively here for the first time. Early push for them. Still hacking, still dealing with the ball in the background, but the hack should come through. The kill should come through. One healer does drop, but that spawn is fairly close.
As you mentioned, you can't fool me a 3rd time, Supreme, as they are able to sniff out the cheese, if you will, and get their first pretty clear entry onto the payload. So that's going to feel great for the side of Colorado Mesa University. Doesn't look like peeling on back. Badger looking for some kind of flank. In it comes Dunstan, if you will. He's checking on in. Here comes the ball on top of it. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to roll on out. Immortality field is burned. It looks like this Baptiste going 1v1 against this Genji is not going to be doing so hot. Looking for something, but actually is Baptiste going to be picking up that 1v1. That feels real bad considering the loadout. So Selena going to fall. Bad internet in the meantime as well, despite Zai's ability to go 1v1.
Enzo here on the Hanzo now, just tagging away at this team. Looks like he's actually been forced to high ground. Gonna find a nice shot there to take out Beagle. Looking towards this Sombra, but there's far too many here on this payload. It looks like Colorado Mesa University gonna be able to take this first one. Dragons are available, and he's gonna just launch that one on out. No. Unfortunately, goes down anyways. Winston's here on the point, trying to do what they can to make sure they can secure a little bit more time before this thing does tick on through. But actually, they may have just completely swept it around. Barely clutching up here at the last second with a few key ultimates. Monkey keeping himself alive with that Mega Bag. Internetti going big here, as now with the Primal Rage online, will be even harder to take down. Minute and a half or so on the clock here for Colorado Mesa University, and they're playing for their right to stay in the tournament, and they have to make this happen right here, right now.
Like I said, Bleach absolutely turned it, just smashed everybody, and has been this entire series long. You cannot sleep on this guy. Headhunter, speaking of sleep, looks like to be taking a nap, but instead heads on back, picks up some health, maintains their ability to stay alive. Savitra is gone, Beagle is gone, and it looks like Badger will follow in kind. Sadist is going to fall, but spawns on back, and that is huge. Colorado Mesa University just getting picked off 1v1. They need to get on this point. They've only got 110 left on the clock to do so, and Supreme holds him again, takes out Headhunter once again right out of spawn, and this is the nightmare we were talking about.
Yeah, setting up here with the snipers, yet another DPS player going down there. Now going to be fighting in the 4 versus 5. Get back in spawn, don't feed those ultimates. Make sure you have at least one good attempt here, but like you mentioned, there are so many good players on Supreme. You're playing against the pantheon of the gods here, and we'll see what they can do to push past this oppressive lineup. Almost taking down one more player here right out of the gate of the spawn. Badger dashing on in, trying to pick up one or two more kills so they can push on out of this area. It looks like the trap has been set up once again. Savitra gonna pick up Winston. This is a good way to start. One player already going down here. Just need to clean up a 1 or 2 more to ensure this team fight victory. Very few ultimates available, but the ultimates do start to come out now for Colorado Mesa University. What can they do to take down a few more players? It looks like all the kills are going in favor of Supreme anyways. Genji 1v1 battle happening here, but it's really more like a 3v1. He'll go down. Bleach picking up yet another one, dashing through the Reinhardt to finish it off, turns around and says, the one anime line that I'm now blanking on.
Well, the one anime line you need right now is GG no Re. Although they did get on the point, finally. They do have to push this thing all the way up. It's not that far to go. The side of Supreme looks like they've lost 2 already off the bat, returned in kind. This is overtime. This is where it matters. Savitra removed, Badger removed. This is almost dire. Supreme gonna lose 2, but they're now back on top of it, and that should be that. Supreme picks up the map and the tournament.
An undefeated run here in the whole across the entire Overwatch bracket. Gotta give them a shout out for that. Selena here on the wrecking ball. I believe roles swapping over, actually. Not their usual pickup here, but a good set of minds to clean up a few more kills here for the side of Colorado Mesa University. Unfortunately, just was not enough in the end. But so many kills were given on over there. A few hellos being given out as well. And congratulations once again to Supreme for taking the LSUS Culture Gaming Winter Invitational Grand Final in Overwatch.
Absolutely, and there's been a lot of game played, a lot of individuals making a name for themselves, and we will continue to do that with the Rocket League Grand Finals coming your way in just a little bit.